Believe it or not, roasting coffee is as much science as it is art. Hello and welcome to Bean Voyage. I've spent countless hours this past year diving into the world of coffee roasting, perfecting techniques that unlock incredible flavors and aromas from simple beans. Today we're exploring how anyone can master this art right from home. But here's a question: can you really roast coffee in your regular kitchen oven? Stay tuned as we answer that and more, revealing tips and tricks that will elevate your home coffee experience. Diving into the world of coffee begins with the beans themselves. Have you ever wondered why some coffee tastes smooth and sweet, while others pack a punch with acidity and bitterness? It's all about the type of bean and where it comes from. Coffee beans aren't just beans. They are the seeds of a fruit, often called coffee cherries. These beans are the embryos of what would become new coffee plants, and they're packed with potential to develop a wide range of flavors and aromas during the roasting process. The two main types of coffee beans that you might have heard of are Arabica and Robusta. Arabica beans are more popular around the globe, known for their wide range of flavors and lower bitterness. They thrive in high altitudes and are predominantly grown in places like Ethiopia and Colombia, where the climate and soil contribute to the bean's subtle flavor nuances. On the other hand, Robusta beans are tougher plants. They can grow at lower altitudes and are more resistant to pests and diseases. This type comes from regions like Vietnam and Brazil, and it's typically stronger and more bitter, packed with caffeine. Why does this matter? Well, the origin of the bean not only tells you about its potential flavor, but also how it should be roasted. For instance, an Arabica bean from Ethiopia with its delicate floral notes might be ruined if roasted too dark, losing all its subtle flavors under a charred exterior. This brings us to an interesting point. How do different roast levels affect the taste of your coffee? This is crucial because whether you're aiming for a light, medium, or dark roast, each level unlocks different flavors and aromas from the bean. Let's take a closer look. Light roasts retain most of the original flavor of the coffee bean, letting the complex floral and fruity notes shine through. They also have more acidity than darker roasts. As we go darker to a medium roast, the coffee becomes smoother and more balanced with a nice mix of acidity and richer flavors like chocolate or caramel. And then there are the dark roasts, which are all about that bold, rich, sometimes even smoky flavor, which masks the original notes of the bean but brings forward a punchy taste that's perfect for an espresso. So what's the problem here? Well, achieving these perfect roast levels isn't always easy, especially if you're thinking of roasting coffee at home. Can you use what you already have in your kitchen to create these distinct flavors? This is where the adventure begins as we explore the art and science of transforming these beans right in your own kitchen. Let's find out how. Now let's talk about how you can actually start roasting those coffee beans right at home. It sounds daunting, doesn't it? But with a bit of know-how and the right equipment, it's quite manageable and incredibly rewarding. First things first, you're going to need a roaster. While there are many fancy, expensive machines out there, you don't need to break the bank to get started. Many coffee enthusiasts use a simple popcorn popper to roast their beans. Yes, you heard that right. A popcorn popper. These machines are not just for movie nights. They can achieve a pretty consistent roast. Plus, they're an affordable way to experiment with roasting without investing in a high-end coffee roaster. However, if you're serious about your coffee, you might consider a dedicated home coffee roaster. These machines offer greater control over the temperature and roasting time, which can be crucial for bringing out the best in your beans. They come in various types like air roasters and drum roasters. Air roasters work by pushing hot air through the beans, roasting them as they tumble around. Drum roasters, on the other hand, heat the beans in a rotating drum. Each type has its pros and cons. Air roasters are typically faster and can give you a very even roast, but drum roasters offer more depth of flavor, especially for darker roasts. But here's a challenge. How do you pick the right roaster for your needs? Think about how much coffee you consume, how precise you want to be with your roasting, and your budget. For many beginners, starting with a popcorn popper or a small drum roaster can be a great introduction to the process. As you get your equipment sorted, remember that roasting coffee at home also comes with a need to understand the process deeply. Each batch of beans can be unpredictable, and different variables like temperature, time, and even the weather can affect your results. It's a bit like a science experiment where you get to drink your results. So imagine this, you're at home and you've just loaded your new roaster with some exotic, single-origin beans you picked up from a local supplier. As the roaster hums along, the aroma starts to fill the air. It's an exciting moment, waiting to see if you've hit the perfect roast that unlocks all the potential of those beans. In the next part of our journey, we'll dive deeper into what happens inside those beans as they roast, the chemical changes that turn them from green and grassy to rich, aromatic, and full of flavor. Stay tuned as we uncover these secrets step by step. As we dive into the world of coffee roasting, let's explore the fascinating transformation that takes place inside those beans. When you roast coffee, you're not just browning beans. You're igniting a series of chemical reactions that define the soul of your coffee. It's what turns the raw green coffee beans into aromatic powerhouses. During roasting, one of the key reactions happening is the Maillard reaction. This is the same reaction that gives browned food its distinctive flavor. Think about the crust on freshly baked bread or the sear on a steak. In coffee, this reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars forms hundreds of new aromatic compounds. It's crucial for developing the complex flavor profile that makes each cup of coffee unique. This reaction primarily occurs when the bean temperature reaches about 154 to 204 degrees Celsius, 310 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, transforming the beans both chemically and physically. But there's a turning point in the roast that every roaster, novice or expert, needs to watch for: the first crack. This is a literal popping sound that occurs as the beans expand and their moisture content escapes. It marks a crucial phase where the bean structure starts to break down, releasing oils that carry intense flavors and aromas. If you continue roasting past this point, you'll hear a second crack, which indicates a much darker roast. Depending on how these stages are managed, the coffee can develop flavors ranging from light floral notes to deep, dark chocolate or smoky tones. Now, managing these reactions and understanding their impact is key to mastering coffee roasting at home. Each batch of beans can behave differently, and small changes in temperature or timing can dramatically alter the taste. This is why developing and following roast profiles is so crucial. A roast profile is essentially a recipe that guides you on how to heat the beans, for how long, and at what point to cool them down to achieve consistent results. However, even the best plans can meet unexpected challenges. What if your roast is uneven or the beans come out too bitter? Understanding the signs of a good roast is critical. Well-roasted coffee beans should be uniform in color without any visible scorching or uneven spots. They should have a slight sheen from the oils that emerge during roasting, especially if it's a darker roast. Finally, once you've achieved that perfect roast, how do you keep those beans fresh and full of flavor? Proper storage is key. Coffee beans are best kept in an airtight container in a cool, dark place. Avoiding excess air, moisture, and light helps maintain their freshness longer. Remember, freshly roasted beans emit carbon dioxide, so if you're sealing them in a container right after roasting, make sure it's equipped with a one-way valve to allow gases to escape. Safety should never be overlooked. Roasting involves high temperatures and potentially flammable materials. Always ensure your roasting area is well ventilated and never leave your roasting equipment unattended. Common mistakes include overfilling the roaster, which can lead to uneven roasting, or not cleaning the equipment regularly, which might cause old coffee residue to burn and give a bitter taste to your freshly roasted beans. By the way, if you've ever wondered about the perfect grind size for making French press coffee, you're not alone. It's a key factor that can significantly influence the taste and quality of your brew. Curious to find out how fine or coarse your coffee beans should be for that perfect cup? Join me in the next video where we'll dive deep into mastering the grind for a French press. This will ensure every sip is just as delightful as you deserve. Stay tuned and let's keep brewing excellence together. Mastering the basics of coffee roasting at home can transform your coffee experience. Each batch you roast not only offers an opportunity to refine your skills, but also brings a fresh burst of flavors into your cup. So why not start experimenting and see what incredible flavors and aromas you can unlock from your coffee beans? Remember, every great cup of coffee starts with a great roast.